Amanda here from DMG, and today I thought I would do a video sharing with you this book that I've got from Future Press, the Bloodborne guide. And I just love Bloodborne and I've wanted to get hold of this guide for ages, and I finally managed to find a copy. They aren't printed anymore, so I know I'm kind of behind the times sharing this with you, but if you haven't got it or you've seen some secondhand copies and you're like thinking, do I really want to get it? I thought this might be useful. So first of all, it is really heavy and really good quality. The paper is really nice as well. I'm not going to obviously go through every page, but I thought I'd go through the sort of broad bones of it for you. So first of all, we've got like the little overview of the chapters at the beginning, and then we go straight into chapter 1. We've got some great artwork in here as well, and chapter 1 is what they call training manual, and this basically is just telling you how kind of Bloodborne itself works as a game. So, you know, the controls, the HUD, etc., and about the character creation, so the different classes of character and what that means, if it makes any difference, etc. Statistics on that, what the different things are, like in the HUD that you'll see, and it labels here like a photo of it and it labels it up. So if you can see that, so you can see there the numbers and it tells you exactly what those represent. And then, you know, you've got all about leveling up and the statistics for that, and literally here what in order to level up, if you don't know Bloodborne, you need blood echoes, and it tells you precisely how many blood echoes you need for each level. So that's just information, and things like, you know, what is blood tinge, what is insight, what is even vitality, you know, just really going into everything that's to do with the game. New Game Plus, all about combat. So you've got here like what is it to how do you do a visceral attack, movement, health, so all of these kinds of things, damage. Then we go into a bit about multiplayer, and that is the end of chapter 1. So chapter 1 is a relatively small chapter. Then chapter 2 is about the actual kind of the walkthrough, as it were. So the first pages here are telling you how the chapters set out, what it all means, how you can understand what's on the pages, so that it just gives you a guide as to the actual guide, really. So it starts off with the areas, basically. So you get a little map of the area, and then you get some obviously images, it gets some explanations, and then, you know, for some of the bigger areas you get a lot more map, and the map is very detailed, setting out, you know, different numbers, different keys, meaning all the different things which you would obviously have explained to you. So you've got lots and lots of information. So that goes to there. So it's a huge chapter. I actually can't go that way for some reason. So you have got loads. I don't want to go mad showing too much in that. I don't want to give anything away to you guys, so I'm trying to make it that you can see what's happening but without giving too much away. And then we get to chapter 3. So as I said, this is massive, and the chapter 3 is all about your beasts. So that is that amount. So this basically is, again, you've got your how to use this chapter at the beginning. So you'll have things like, you know, that it's going to explain what items might be dropped, data and stats about the enemy, and it just explains all of this for you. And then you go in, oh, and there's like an enemy index here, which is great. So it's like an index of the chapter, and it kind of starts through the enemies as you would more likely to come across them, but it's not obviously 100%. So then you've got, first of all, your regular enemies, and then you'll have more specialised, and then your bosses, etc. And you get some really nice artwork here as well, so you actually get to see what they look like. And then, as I said, you get your statistics down here. It just tells you what items are dropped, information, different information about them. So these are all your regular enemies. And some nice images as well. And you've got under each one, as I said, you've got information about where you'll find them, what items they drop, different statistics about them, etc. And then you go from your regular enemies to your strong enemies. I said special enemies, didn't I? I didn't. And again, here you get slightly bigger images, which is kind of cool. And you get pictures of them kind of in operation in the actual game. And you get more statistics, and you also get a bit of a write-up on them, a bit more of a write-up here on them. So that's fun and interesting to read about them. And I tell you what else is really nice is to learn the names, because a lot of the time you're just like, I don't know what that one's called. And so it's quite fun to know what they're called, which is... And then, I'm just waiting so much. Then we get hunter enemies. So within the game you've got, we're a hunter and there are other hunters, the NPC hunters, so these are those, and they're just giving you the information about those ones as well. So again, you get some really nice pictures, which is nice because sometimes with these, they're moving around so fast you don't get to see them, so it's quite nice to actually see them in a bit more detail. And then of course your bosses, and they obviously get a lot more dedicated to them, so you get a nice big double page on those, and so you get lots of information about them, strategies, and the different phases in the fight. Here you're being told different key attacks that they're given to use, so you're getting a lot more information. I don't want to spoil the bosses by showing you those too much, but really great artwork again to look at. So you've got all of those. Then you get to the section on the Chalice Dungeons. Now Chalice Dungeons is a completely optional area of the game. Definitely would recommend it if you haven't played Bloodborne. I do recommend the Chalice Dungeons, they're really fun, and if you want to play with some friends, they're really cool to do that as well, to co-op on. And on this section, that goes to here. So again, another big chapter, and it just, I haven't actually looked at all of this yet myself because I haven't got that far through the Chalice Dungeons, but I'm finding it interesting because I got a little bit stuck in some of it, and so I was finding it kind of useful to understand. I'd got a bit confused in how some of it worked. I think I got myself a bit twisted around with it, so I'm finding this sort of is helping me get untangled, but it also tells you kind of what you need and just loads of information about how it works. And then for your standard Chalice Dungeons, the labyrinths, here you've got the maps and stuff, but obviously you've got, well, it's not obvious if you've not played it, but you've got another type of dungeons which you can play, which are completely randomized. So basically, you know, it's kind of an infinite kind of playable or replayable way of continuing this game, really, because they're just completely come up brand new each time. There is a formula to it, and you get told about that formula at the beginning, but you know, it still makes it very replayable. And then we have a chapter 5, Arsenal and Attire. So basically your weapons. I'm just again want to show you where that goes to. So again, a huge chapter, so you get lots of information. So this is all about obviously your armor and your weapons, I guess. And again, this is telling you at the beginning how to use the chapter and how they're doing it and what they've done on these. I'll go to an actual one. So for example, this particular weapon, Saw Spear, so it gives you a picture of it, it gives you some information about it, it gives you some advice about upgrading it, all of this kind of damage stuff, and then it shows you diagrams of the weapon in use, which probably looks you know, until you actually see it when you use it, and then you're like, oh right, yes, that's that one, and it's really quite helpful and quite interesting. So there's all of these in here. You've got lots of different weapons with all that information, and it comes then to I missed a section there. So still under chapter 5, your attire. You've got things here about your healing items, and then we've got different attack items and your echoes, your multiplayer, fortification items, materials, insight items. I mean, none of these might make any sense to you if you don't know the game. Then you've got tools and blood gems, and then we get into the attire that you can get, so all the different armors and the statistics that gives you for each one. And then we go to chapter 6. Chapter 6 is the Hunter's Appendices. In this one we have, it's basically saying it's the home to the full shop list, a trophy guide, and a special interview with Bloodborne director Hidetaka Miyazaki. I can't say his name very well, but that's as good as I can get. And so then we have kind of like a quick guide on NPCs here, all different things. I mean, and then a bit more informations, so all different things, different information shops here, so what you can get with them, different things about insight, etc, etc. And then we get to that interview. I've just actually finished reading that myself, again with some beautiful artwork. Really interesting to see how his mind was working when he made this game. Actually, it was very interesting, and some great artwork again. And then at the back we have the lore index. So this is just your main index of all the most important topics. Obviously, for example, in your beasts you had a separate index for that. And then we've got another bit of artwork, and then we're at the very end, and that is it. But I say that is it like, oh, that's it, but as you can see, it's a huge book. It's got loads of information, and I think it's really well written. The quality is really nice as well. The pages are thick. They're not kind of cheap thin paper, and the text isn't too small, in my opinion. I can see the maps fine when I'm looking at them. You know, I'm not having any difficulty kind of identifying the different icons, etc. And so I think you'll find that it's a really good source of information, but also just a really interesting book to look at if you like this game. As with there's Future Press has done a lot of different guides, and I've got a couple more that I am gonna do some videos for you for, and as I say, it just depends, you know, if you're particularly enjoying a particular game, then this is a really good series. This company does a really good set of books. As far as from the ones that I've picked up, they all seem to be of really good quality. The standard seems to be really high. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed taking a look at this. I think I'm gonna have to go because my light is going off to this side, so I'm running out of battery. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you again for some of the others, I hope. Bye for now. Bye.